Hello guys and welcome back to Thread Coders. From this video, let's install Angular and set up the environment to run our first Angular project. First of all, let's move to Angular homepage. So this is the Angular homepage which is created by the Angular team. So you can see it is pretty animated and it is really pleasant to watch. Now let's move into the docs. So you can read this comprehensive docs and get a good idea about Angular. So now let's move into installation part. Now let's move down here and you get some pre-requirements. So what are the pre-requirements? Node.js, a text editor, and Angular CLI terminal. So these are the pre-requirements before we start coding using Angular. So now let's focus first on this Node.js. So guys, what is Node.js? Node.js is something called a JavaScript runtime build, which is on Chrome V8 engine that allows developers to run JavaScript server-side, enabling scalable and event-driven applications. So what is Chrome V8 engine? So I I'll do it once again. I have taken a new tab here and move to inspect and console. So if I type a JavaScript code here, console.log, hello, and enter, you can see hello is typed here, it is printed here. So these JavaScript codes are built and compiled using Chrome V8 engine. To get this Chrome V8 engine to do this development process outside this Chrome, we need Node.js. So that's why I said Node.js is a JavaScript runtime build on Chrome V8 engine that allows developers to run JavaScript server-side, enabling scalable and event-driven applications. So let's install Node.js. So you can see a version of 18.19.10 Nivel. Actually I'm using Angular 15 version. For be compatible with Angular 15, I'll install Node.js 16. So let's type Node.js 16 install. You can see a LTS version. Please remember, every time use these LTS versions. They are long time supported. So you can see this is Node version 16.16 long term supported version. So let's select Java. I'm using a Windows machine with 64 bit. So I'll select this one. It is installing here. Sorry, it is downloading here. Let's install it here. You can see Node.js is here. Let's accept it. You can read if you prefer. next. The location is set here. But I don't need those tools here. Let's install get just, and you can see Node is installing. So while installing, yeah, it is finished. To check whether Node is clearly installed, you can move into command prompt and type in node ---- version. Right, you can see the Node version 16.16, which I expected to install is installed. PM version, it is 8.11. Right, I have installed the Node version here. It is in effect this moment. But I haven't installed Angular yet. And before installing Angular, I need a text editor. For this video tutorial, I'll prefer to use VS Code as the text editor. You can download VS Code, download, and move to their official website. If you're using Windows, you can download by this button, and if you're using Linux, you can download by these buttons, and if you're using Mac, you can download by this button. So I have already installed Visual Studio Code, so it is a very simple process to install VS Code. So I'll give the chance to you. So you must download, but I have already. Okay, now we have to download Angular. So before downloading, let's check whether we have any Angular versions installed. So as I checked whether I have installed Node, like this Node ---- version, I can use ng version to check whether I have installed Angular before. So you can see I have removed, sorry, there's this mistake here. You can see there are no any Angular versions at this time. So let's install Angular. So how can we install? Yeah, here's the command to install Angular, but I need to install Angular 15.2.10. So how can I install it? Let's go Angular version 15. I can use this here, but this problem, we need to install Angular as global. So I need to use this code actually with G. You see this G refers globally installing, so we need to install it globally. So I will take the command line and globally installing, but I need the version of 15.2.10, and I'll select it. At 15.2.10 and Angular is installing here. Right. Now let's see whether we have installed Angular correctly. You can see Angular is installed correctly here. I'm using Angular version 15.2.10 with Node version of 16.16. So now it has correctly set up the environment with Angular, Node and VS Code. So now let's move into VS Code. And I have created a new folder for this tutorial, and I open this folder using command prompt. I can do it like this. You can clear this address bar and type here cmd and enter the command prompt here, which is from this folder, and you can create a new project, new Angular project actually, by ng new, and I'll use first -app. So this is the name of our project, and this is the code to create a new Angular project. I'll press enter. Would you like to add Angular routings? Yes, I need. I'll select, you can select how the stylings are going to set. I'll select SCSS, and here your first Angular project is creating. It will take some time because this is the first time this project is initialized. Okay, now you can see the packages installed successfully. So there are some common warnings, and no need to concern about those warnings much, and the packages has installed successfully. So now let's move into our first app. So to open this project using VS Code, you can simply use code space and dot, enter, and now you have opened the project first tab in VS Code. It is a simple method to open using VS Code. So this is the folder structure. So you can see there are some folders, tsconfig.json. So in Angular we are not using JavaScript, we using TypeScript. It is something closer to JavaScript, and it is something similar like that. So but we are using TypeScript in Angular. So this TypeScript, for this TypeScript we need a tsconfig file. So it is required to build and compile this TypeScript codes. So this JSON file is required. After that we can find package.json. If you have already worked with Node.js and npm, you know what is package.json. Actually this is the heart of a project which is built from Node. So there are dependencies and lot of things this is a really important file in this node project. After that, let's find a folder called angular.json. This is very much required for developments and builds using Angular. You can see the things required for development are there: build optimizer, optimizations, vendor chunk, and there are a lot of things. Styles are there. Also, I think there's a package lock.json. You can lock the versions to get away from the conflicts or get away from the mismatches with versions. You can lock your versions in this package lock.json. So now let's move into source folder, src folder. This is the folder that we use for coding. In this we will find something called main.ts. If you have already worked with JavaScript, you will find index.js as the main or the starting file of a project. But in TypeScript, main.ts is the place where the project starts. It is the main entry of a project. It initializes and it deliver this TypeScript code. So these are the main folder structures and main folders and files which we are required to get the knowledge when we start our first Angular project. So from the next video, let's start coding using TypeScript in the framework of Angular. Until then, goodbye.